Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm super excited to be joined by Nicole Raquel who plays Effie White. I've also got Natalie Kassanga who plays Dina Jones and Paige Petrie who plays Laurel Robinson. Woohoo! I feel like it deserves a round of applause because Dreamgirls is a real dream show, so it's a real dream for me to be here with you three. I'm mega excited to be seeing the show again in a few weeks' time. So first and foremost, I've got to talk to you girls about how it feels to be part of such an iconic show as Dreamgirls.
I mean, yeah, for me, it holds a special place in my heart because with Dreamgirls, it was a huge contribution to my childhood. It was the reason why I love musical theatre and the Motown era and everything. And, being in the position to play such an amazing role, such as Dina Jones, played by the incredible Beyonce Knowles, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So to share this amazing story and to be able to sing these songs, for me, it's about just wanting to inspire, every generation when they come to watch the show. So for me, that's amazing.
Yeah, similar thing. Like, I love the show. I've always loved the soundtrack. And, it's one of those shows where I kind of believe, like, I could see myself doing that, or I could do that. So watching the London version and the West End version, when I'd gone to see that, it was literally like a light bulb moment for me. Like, I actually really want to pursue this professionally. Because sometimes I feel like there can be that fear, like, oh, like, what if I can't do it? Or what if and nothing happens? But I think once I saw this show, I was like, I'm going to try. So yeah, it always holds a special place in my heart. And now I'm here. Like I literally said, one day I'm going to do the show. And
a literal dream. Love that. That's so cool. And for you, Nicole, what was it like when you got that call from the producers and directors to say, hey, you're going to be playing Effie White?
No, I was in rehearsals for Waitress. It was a week after we just finished in town.
Wow.
And we were at our press day for Waitress. And we just finished and I came out, was having some apple pie, literally having apple pie. And then my agent called me and was like, oh, they've just offered you the tour. And I was like, okay, well, I'm eating pie right now, so I can't talk. But it was overwhelming and just surreal. And I think, especially because I covered the part in town, when you cover, and I have so much respect for our swings and covers because it's such that step up, you just sometimes don't think it's going to happen. And it happened and it's very surreal. And I'm still pinching myself today. It's just, very grateful.
I'm really glad to hear that. And also, I think with this show, it's so important because of the representation and diversity on the stage. So obviously you're all part of the group called the Dreamettes. You're following in the footsteps of people like Jennifer Holliday, Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson. How important is it for you girls to be playing these roles on a nightly and also touring the country? So going to some places that are a lot smaller than London and being able to perform such an important story to so many people.
I mean, it's kind of surreal to kind of say that we're part of this Dreamgirls legacy and we're carrying the torch that was started by titans in this industry like Jennifer Holliday and Cheryl Lee Ralph. And like, it's insane that we get to do this and also to get to expose this kind of music in this show with how diverse our cast is to smaller cities that probably wouldn't get the chance to be exposed to a Black musical. So there's a lot of responsibility. But it comes from a place of, like Natalie said, wanting to inspire the next generation. So we all hold it very, very close to our hearts.
And I think to also add to that, the fact that we're the first British cast, because every role that's been played has been done by Americans, by so for us to be in that position, I think for us, I feel like sometimes we don't even recognize that and realize like, wow, I'm the first British Dina, you're the first British like Effie, first British like Laurel. So I feel like it is amazing to kind of be in that position as well and to actually represent our country.
That is amazing. Obviously Broadway legends and Hollywood stars to UK British is amazing, and you're doing really amazing things. Like, I've read incredible reviews on social media, so it's great to have you girls in this show. So of course the show is based in the 1960s to 70s, and this era is obviously very different to our time now. What have you all learned about that era when rehearsing and performing this show?
I think for me, from also doing a show that was kind of within the same era, such as Motown, I think the biggest lesson is knowing that, you know, within the Black African American music industry, it's very, very hard to cross over to the mainstream charts. And it wasn't easy, you know, trying to appeal to a certain audience was very, very difficult. So changing your look, your sound, the style, and being able to fit on like a certain record, like album cover, in order to appeal to a certain type of audience. So I think that's very, very important for every generation, and especially when it comes to diversity, to really showcase that when it comes to that time frame.
And the strength that they all had in order to still dream despite the obstacles of that time, to still want to share their gifts and share their talent, because are like standing on the legacy of them right now. So the fact that they could dream and they had their aspirations, it meant that we could be where we are today. And the music's still being played. I think that's amazing, the fact that Motown legacy is still like, so
I was also going to say, like, some of the themes are still so relevant to today. And even though it originates in the 60s in that era, there are so many things about feminism and like racism that are still so present in today's society. So the fact that we still get to kind of navigate through the story whilst also navigating our own lives is really cathartic.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Dreamgirls is all about dreaming big and standing up for yourself, which is exactly what, you know, Effie does in this story as well. But equally, as women in that time as well, you have such strong voices in the show, not only in terms of vocals, but also in terms of the storyline. Like, so I was just wondering, for each of you, with your characters, obviously they've all got really big hopes and dreams, but for each of you, have you learned anything from this show that you take with you into your own hopes and dreams?
I think
Good question.
I feel like for me as a person, but also the character, and it might sound weird and like cringy or whatever, but I feel like it is like family comes first. I feel like you always have to remember where you've come from, who was a huge part of your life when it came to your you know, your journey when it comes to the industry, etc., and what your dream is. So, you know, with Dina being lost along the way and, you know, forgetting her sisters, etc., and then finally coming to like together again in the end, you know, representing sisterhood, her kind of going back and remembering that, you know, she was a part of your life from the get-go. So don't lose that, and don't get lost you know, amongst the glitz and the glam. And, you know, it's not always just ups, you know, there's a lot of downs. So I think that's, for me, it's like remembering, you know, where everything started.
You go first.
I think with me, with Effie especially, obviously she's the loud, outspoken one, and I think it's really easy to forget her humanity. And I think that's something that I have to remind myself, that even though I am outspoken and stuff, I'm also allowed to feel things very deeply. And these girls are like and not being afraid to feel things. I think I've learned a lot from Effie in that.
I think Laurel is quite a larger than life character, and she says stuff, she feels, she's very empathetic, and I think
she's you.
I feel like she's really similar to me, but just like a bigger version. So I think I'm allowing myself to be that bigger version and just take up that space that I sometimes used to try and hide away from and shy away from. So I think that's what it's done.
Oh, that's really, really sweet and great to hear. And of course, we couldn't like meet and talk about Dreamgirls without discussing your favorite songs, because obviously there's so many incredible numbers in this show. But if you could pick a favorite song, what would it be and why?
Mine changes all the time, depending on how my voice is sounding. Mine changes all the time. Right now it's I Miss You Old Friend, which is the FBC duet before One Night Only, because it's just really, it's a joy to sing.
I'm enjoying Fake Your Way to the Top at the moment. Just the beginning, just the joy and like the innocence of it all, and we're all like, wow, all these dancers, wow. Like, I'm just loving the energy of that at the moment.
I think for me, for the first time, it's Love Love. And I think the reason why I feel like I've started settling into the song a little bit more, and just being able to open the second act with that and having all the dancers around me, I've started actually enjoying it. Because for me, like, the dancing part was the bane of my life. But now, because I've started to like get used to it, I've started enjoying it a little bit more. So I think it's got to be that one for me.
Shout out to And I'm Telling You as well, because listening to that, like recently, we've been taking some time to listen. And
you have actually.
I was just sat there because I was like, right, I'm just going to sit and just watch the number like properly for the first time, because usually me and Paige are changing. And I was just sat there and I had a little conversation with Nicole, and I was like, Nick, you're incredible. You know, sometimes when you forget like how amazing this cast is, but you as the leading woman leading the company. But like, just hearing, especially because we work so closely together, seeing and hearing how much stronger we're getting with the tracks and the songs, etc. Like, it was just like a weird sort of like realization when listening. Like, shout out there to Nicole.
It's definitely a tearjerker for me. Whenever I've seen that live in the movie and on stage, it gets me. So I'm sure I'll be crying when I come to see it on tour in a few weeks. So to wrap up here, finally, why should people come and see Dreamgirls on tour?
Oh, okay. Come and see Dreamgirls because, one, there's nothing like it, truly. And that's not just a selling point. There honestly is nothing like this score. There's nothing like this cast. It's a special moment. And I think to miss it would be like foolish.
Yeah.
Thomasy is, as you said, there's nothing like this cast as well. I think we've got such a strong bond as a group of people, and I really feel like it reads on stage. So if you want to have that fun, like feel that buzz, like just come and come and see us.
They've said it really.
Well, it is a real celebration of the show. It's powerful, it's fun, it's fabulous, and of course, it's an absolute dream. So Dreamgirls the musical is running at the New Wimbledon Theatre from Monday 9th of May to Saturday 14th of May, and it's on a UK tour, so be sure not to miss it. If you miss it, you miss out. Thanks so much, girls. It was great talking to you, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous.